I'll start off by introducing myself. As you guys might know, my name is Wysocki. Grew up in Medina, Ohio. Played golf and all around here with all these club members, Dan, Evan, and Mike, and everyone playing tournaments around here. So just glad to be back, hanging out with everyone, and so thank you guys for supporting me. And I got discs for sale afterwards if you guys want to check them out.
Limited edition.
Yeah, I got all kinds of discs. But all right, I'll start off just with basic. Most of you guys are pretty more advanced, not too many beginners here, but I'll start off just by showing you guys basic grips. Start off by showing you guys power grip. Power grip's basically just all 4 fingers underneath the rim. Pretty basic, full power drive. That's usually what you use that for. Fan grip is more like soft approach shots and putter grip. I putt like that and throw up shots like that. And then those are the 2 basic grips for backhand. And for sidearm, I call it the power grip for sidearm. Just 2 fingers stacked on top of each other. That's what I use for the power grip. And then the fan grip for sidearm, I use kind of like a split finger grip. Kind of like same thing as a backhand fan grip, kind of like fan, except just only 2 fingers instead of all 4. So yeah, those are the basic grips. I know you guys probably know most of that, so I won't spend too much time with that kind of stuff. But so we'll get into kind of the more mechanical stuff. I know that's probably what you guys are. Most of you guys have been playing long enough to, that's probably where you guys are wanting to learn some certain things. So basically, we'll start off that's why I kind of want to start by this tee pad is, just generally lining up your shots in the general direction and line yourself up before you throw a shot. Especially on a tee pad like this, it's square tee pads. I like square tee pads just because, I am able to line my shots up. So here, I'll put this down to show you kind of. So basically, this is what I like to coach people and show people when you're throwing a shot. Say, pretend there's a tree right here in the middle of the fairway. Just use this as an example. That this is a tree, and I want to go around the tree or something. It's an obstacle. So basically, just to simplify the swing and when you're throwing a shot. When you're throwing a shot and you want to kind of throw a hyzer, you want to go left corner of the tee pad to the right corner. So I'm not gonna run across my body and kind of throw like this and throw across my body when you want to throw a hyzer. So I see a lot of people do that all the time. They're running just all like randomly run on the tee pad and why did I turn it over or something? That's because you threw across your body. What I like to you go left to right if you want to throw a hyzer. So if I want to throw on this tree, I'm gonna throw left, go to the right edge of the tee pad and kind of just. I'm not throwing across my body ever. And the only time I'm throwing across my body is kind of when I'm throwing an anhyzer. I'm going right to left, the opposite. If I'm throwing around this disc, I want to run to the opposite end of the tee pad to throw that shot. The straight shot is right. I'm going to run right between them. That's a bit. I see a lot of people doing that. They'll throw across the body with a hyzer. And just run up to the left side of the tee pad, kind of throw across the body and try to throw over here, and they like jerk it or it's not as consistent. You can get it way more consistent if you're making sure you line yourself up. That's the first thing. When you're just throwing any type of shot, is lining yourself up correctly. And then now onto the actual throw. So that's before you're even throwing this. So now I'm onto the throw. When you're throwing, I'll start with just backhand, just backhand driving. When you're picking up a disc and you're just first throwing, a lot of people like to carry super overstable disc, but first off learning, you want to throw straighter discs. Most of you guys are past that point, so I'll skip that. But like you say, like I use the same disc as an obstacle. If you're throwing around it, and pretend if you're throwing a hyzer, a lot of people will over hyzer a disc or something. A lot of that trouble comes from just throwing too high. So basically, if I'm throwing a hyzer around this tree, however high I throw my disc, is how much left the disc is going to go. So if I throw my disc like that, you see how high it's going to hyzer left. And if you throw it low, obviously it's not going to hyzer as much. And that's why I see a lot of people have that trouble. They'll throw the right shot, do everything right, they just throw it way too high or way too low. And that's an easy way to be consistent with every shot. That's not just a hyzer. You throw an anhyzer the same way. You throw it really high, it's going to anhyzer a lot more than if you throw it real low or medium height off the ground. So that as far as driving, that'll apply to upshots too. You're doing the same thing with an upshot, except you're maybe just standing there instead of running up. You're just standing right here. Just like I'm running up with the tee pad, I'm lining my shoulders up and my body up to throw a hyzer. Anhyzers this the opposite way, lining my shoulders up to throw the opposite way. Straight shot, same thing. Just you're not running up. So that's the same. You can all this stuff applies to driving and up shots. So got a few more things written down. Look at the notes. Yeah, and also another thing with the drives that I've kind of taught myself and learned over the years is just when you're reaching back, a lot of if you're trying to throw a full power shot like this, say this hole, playing this hole, and you want to throw a full power shot. What I like to teach people is you want to pretend like you're throwing. Pretend this is like a wall right here, the edge of this T-pad. I want to make sure that when I'm reaching my disc back, I'm reaching straight back and straight forward. That's the mechanics when you're throwing just about any shot. You're never going to break the plane of you coming straight back and straight forward. That's why I showed you about the T-pad thing. You're always throwing the exact same. I'm never going like this to throw an anhyzer like this, or like dipping to throw a hyzer. Only thing I'm doing is moving my body. That's all. I'm throwing the exact same shot every time, like this. Except I'm just running up and guiding my shoulders in the right direction of where I'm throwing. Instead of breaking the plane like this, that's way less consistent when you're throwing. So what I like to tell people is you want to reach straight back and straight forward, like you're on, pretend it's like a wall right here. You don't ever want to break the plane like this. Like a lot of people go straight back and good, and then they'll break the plane, and that's just how you get. I mean, the margin for error when you do that is so much greater than if this is my margin of error when you reach. If you're to reach straight back and straight forward, you only control the disc this way. If you go like this and like this, I mean, it broadens the margin of error all the way to. I can hit that tree, this tree. When you're going straight back and straight forward, it's just so much less room for error. And also, as far a lot of you guys probably want to throw, some tips on how to throw farther or things like that. What I like to tell people about if you're trying to gain distance or something like that, you want to start off slow. And what I mean by that is everything in your run up, from your run up to your back swing to your front swing. So say I want to throw this hole and throw as far as I can, whatever hole, just throw as far as I can. So I'm not gonna start run up really fast like a lot of people like. They want to run up real fast to try and gain distance, but you really want to run up slow. If you think about it, running up slow to fast at the end, it's going to build up to explode out of your hand. If you explode off the back of the T-pad, by the time you get to the front, you're gonna have no power. So you want to be really slow in your backswing, your run up, everything slow, and then by the time you get to the gun, you're exploding. That's what I'm saying. If you explode in the beginning of your run up, by the time you get there, you'll have no power. So I see a lot of people do that when they're trying to throw really far. They'll just all their weight shift is just, they don't have any momentum by the time they get to the front of the T-pad. So I think that'll help a lot of people if you're trying to gain distance or something like that. That stuff is really helpful. It took me a while to learn this stuff too. I was just I went to clinics too, like you guys did when I was growing up, and I didn't have too many coaches, so I had to figure some of this stuff out myself, and just going out to the fields and testing certain theories like this kind of stuff. So that's most of what I got for the driving stuff.
It's almost like ball golf,
Yeah.
so you're like not rushing it, like you're actually going back instead of doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a little more control.
Yeah. One other thing is just keeping your disc on the plane of wherever you want to throw it. So you're never gonna like turn your disc. I'm just using this as an example. You're never gonna turn your disc like this when you're bringing it back to throw a hyzer. Because I see people like do all kinds of funky stuff with their disc and then come back and expect to throw the shot they want. If you want to throw a hyzer, there's no need to bring the disc out, like swoop, do like all this weird stuff with your disc. Just keep the disc wherever you want to throw it the whole time. Pretend like you want to throw a roller. Keep your disc like this the whole time. Do your same reach back, straight forward. Your disc has no other option but to come out with a roller angle. Instead of reaching it back like this, doing all this other stuff, it might come out and fly. And that's why sometimes I see people try to throw a roller and it flies. Because they didn't hold it on the angle the whole time. And so yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm always throwing the same, I'm doing the same reach back, just pull through every single time. I'm just doing slightly different things for my disc or my run up to control the different shots. Obviously, I'm not going to throw the same exact straight shot or hydro on every hole. I'm throwing whatever the hole demands. It makes it more consistent when you're throwing. Just by holding the disc at an anti-sense angle, bringing it straight back like there's a wall right here, straight back, straight forward. It's got to come out at that angle. So I mean, I see a lot of people make that mistake, and I think that'll help you guys, everyone listening. And yeah, I mean that's mostly what I got for the driving. We can move on to sidearms. Yeah, so most of that stuff applies. It applies the same to the sidearms as it does backhand. Except there's a little bit more risk involved with the sidearm, and with upshots and driving. Just like like I was saying, that's all the stuff I just showed you applies to driving and upshots. Same thing with the sidearm. So I'll start off basically with the grip I use, like I was showing you earlier, the power grip. That's how I do it. There's the 2 fingers. I forgot this earlier. The 2 finger stack grip. Some people do that, but I really that's my grip, is the 2 finger stack grip. And as I was showing you earlier with the angle of your wrist and with the backhand, same thing goes for the sidearm, except it's the opposite way. If I want to throw a sidearm, I'm going to hold the disc like this the whole time and snap my wrist like this at the end. I'm not gonna hold the disc like this to throw a hyzer the last second, release it like that. So same exact thing with the run up on the T-pad is the exact same as well. I'm gonna run up this way, right to left, throw a hyzer, and just keep my wrist on this plane the whole time. Straight shot is just like a backhand. You want to keep your wrist straight, snap your wrist straight. I'm not gonna bring my wrist down and go like that and roll over your wrist. I'm gonna just keep the disc on the plane the whole time, snap my wrist straight. Same thing with a turnover. Just like a backhand, I'm gonna hold my disc and hold on the plate. So that the backhand applies the same thing with the sidearm, except it's just different grip and it's reversed. Yeah, I mean, if you guys ever have any questions about this stuff, just ask me questions. But
Where do you prefer to have your thumb over top of the disc when you're going forehand?
What was the question?
The thumb on top of the disc. Do you try to keep it as straight as possible, or do you?
You're asking like how close to the rim I have it?
Yeah.
I like to hold it right where the rim and the flight plate meet. You can tell there's like a little separation there, and it has a little give, and I like to hold it there. It gives me better grip. So I like to hold it right where the rim. You guys can see right where the rim and the top of the disc meet. That's where I like to put my thumb. I don't want to put it there, because then your thumb has so much more room to come off the disc. If it's closer to the rim, it just pops right off. I see some people hold it like that, and then you get like wobbly releases and all kinds of stuff. But I like to just hold it right there so it doesn't have too much resistance. By the time you get here, it's got to slide all the way off your finger, and it's got all that room to resist instead of just snapping off your finger. Any other questions? All right, I think that that's what I got mostly for the driving. We can go over to putting and do some. I don't know what. Dan, where's Dan at?
Right here.
Oh, you want to go to a basket over there?
Yeah, any more questions about either forehand or backhand?
Any questions you guys have? Ask them. I'll answer them.
What's your release point look like on the forehand? Because when I try, it's terrible. It just shoots off to the right and really high, and then I lose my disc because I'm very good at forehand.
So like I was explaining earlier, probably why it's doing that is because you're just holding the disc. Also with the sidearm, I like to hold it really, have a firm grip with it. That's because you're holding your sidearm. I'm bending my wrist at like a 90-degree angle, and that way, if I'm starting my wrist like this at a flat, and I'm going from flat wrist or just straight wrist to here, there's not that much power. But if you think about it, when I go all the way back and then snap through, that's that much more power. Same thing with the reach back or the backhand. If I'm gonna reach back to here and come forward, there's not that much power. But if I go all the way back here and go forward, that's that much more added power. Same thing with the sidearm. I'm gonna reach, except I'm just bending my wrist back and my arm back. Then create that much more power instead of just keeping a flat wrist and just going and not snapping out of your hand. I see a lot of people do that. They'll just keep their wrist flat instead of all wobbly, and that'll help. But the thing with the sidearm is a lot of people won't do that, and they'll just bring your arm straight back and straight forward. The sidearm, you can just stand there, literally just snap the wrist. You know, if you don't want to, if you just want to throw a short sidearm, you can do it. Just not much effort. You just snap the wrist, and it'll go pretty far. And obviously, when you're throwing a drive, you want to get your whole arm into it too. But that's why I like to throw just standstill sidearms, because I can just control the angle with the disc. Right, you know, I'm not facing away from the target. I'm just, you know, as long as I snap my wrist on that angle, it's going to be the most consistent shot for me at least. So, can I answer your question a little bit? Any other questions?
What about the back foot when you lift it up? How high should that be off the ground when you're following through with the drive?
I mean, it should, you know, with either sidearm or backhanded, it should definitely be coming off the ground, because that means you're exploding your power. If it's not coming off the ground, that means your power is just dead. There's no follow through. That's part of the follow through. That basically means you're following through and all your weight has exploded, and then your foot has to go somewhere. It's not just gonna. Once your weight explodes forward, you can't. It's got nowhere else but to go forward. If your foot's not going up, I wouldn't say I'm coming like really high, but I'm going definitely following through with my foot basically. As soon as my arm comes through, my foot follows it. It's like synchronized almost. So, you know, I think that if your foot's exploding through after the shot, that just means you're following through and exploding your power.
Go in.
I like the